Welcome everyone, I'm Adam. In this problem, we're going to find the standard form of the equation of the hyperbola with the given characteristics. We're told that our foci are at points -1, -1, and 9, -1, and that the asymptotes have equations y equal to 3/4 x minus 4 and y equal to -3/4 x plus 2. So finding the standard form all boils down into which form of the standard form do we have. Now we start by looking at our foci, and we notice that we have the same y-coordinate in both. If we have the same y-coordinate, that means that the foci lie on a horizontal line, or at least tells us that the transverse axis is a horizontal line. So if we have a horizontal transverse axis, that says that the standard form is going to look like x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared, and that's equal to 1. Okay, so to plug everything in, we need to find h, k, a, and b. Now, if we look again at the foci, we see that the y-coordinate again is the same, and the y-coordinate would be the same for all other points on that transverse axis, including the center, which has coordinates x value h, y value k. So that tells us that our k, at least, is equal to -1. So we got one part of it. How can we find the rest? Well, let's come over here and look at our asymptotes. Well, we have the equations of what the asymptotes are, but again, these have a general form too. The general form of the equation of our asymptotes is y equal to k, right, plus or minus, say, b over a times x minus h. So kind of like the game that we've played with the standard form of an equation before, if we can get the equations of our asymptotes in this standard form, it might help us find out what the b, the a, and the h, which are the remaining things that we need to find, are. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So let's look at our first equation. We have y equals 3/4 x minus 4. And so what we're going to do is try to rewrite this so it's in a standard form. And how do we start by doing that? Well, we don't really have much to go on, but we do know that we're supposed to have a k added up front. So we can start with that. So we'll have this equal to y equals to k is -1. So you want -1 added with the rest of the stuff. So we'll just kind of piece this out. We have -1 plus 3/4 x. And to make this equation the same as what we had previously, if we have -1 here, we'll make this a -3. So -1 minus 3 gets us back to -4. And again, to write it in standard form, we want to factor out this 3/4 so we can get x by itself. So we'll have y is equal to, or keep on -1, plus factoring out 3/4. So we'll have 3/4 times, say, x, and then 3/4 factored out of 3 will give us -4. So taking a look at this, it looks like it has the form k plus or minus b over a and x minus h, but just to be sure, we're going to do the same thing with the other equation. And if we did it right, we should get all the same values. The only difference is there'll be a minus instead of a plus right here. So let's do that. So we have our other asymptote, right, y equals -3/4 x plus 2. And we'll do the same thing. We'll try and build it into the standard form. So we'll write this as y equals k, or -1, right, be minus 3/4 x. Now to keep the equations the same, we have a -1 here. We make this a +3, so -1 and +3 gets us back to 2. And same thing, we're going to factor out this -3/4 to get x by itself. So that gives us y is equal to -1, factoring out -3/4. We have -3/4 times x, and -3/4 factored out of 3 will give us a -4. So if we take a look at these two, well, other than the plus and the minus, all the values are the same. All right, so that tells us, right, that we have k is -1, but looking at first the fraction here, 3/4, so b is 3, a is 4, and our h, the value that's being subtracted from x, h is equal to 4. So now we have everything we need, and we can plug it into our standard form. So, standard form of our equation is going to look like x minus h, or x minus 4 squared, over a squared, over 4 squared, minus y minus k, y minus negative 1 squared, over b squared, or 3 squared, and that's equal to 1. Which we could leave it like this, but we'll rewrite it one more time, simplifying things. Both will be acceptable. But we can write this first part as, say, x minus 4 squared over 4 squared, which is 16, minus y minus a negative 1, or y plus 1 squared, over 3 squared, which is 9, and that's equal to 1. So we'll go ahead and box both of these as an acceptable answer. So there's the standard form of our hyperbola with the given characteristics. There we go. Thank you very much.